Yeah, the government shutdown may be over, but now the National Parks Director has confirmed that he indeed consulted with the White House before closing the memorials and the parks. Now, does this confirm the vets were treated like pawns? Joining us right now, the CEO of Concerned Vets for America, Pete Hegseth. Pete, we know what happened to the World War II Memorial, the Vietnam Memorial, everything that we saw and the way the vets like yourself rose up. Yesterday, in a give and take with Congressman Micah, this Parks Department official, Jonathan Jarvis, confirmed that he consulted with the White House first.
It confirms what everybody knew all along. You'd have to have your head in the sand or only watch MSNBC not to know that from day one, Brian, vets have been the chief pawn piece. This White House, and we shouldn't be universal in our outrage. Some vets groups have said everyone's to blame. There's a lot of blame to go around. But it is the White House specifically that has stepped up and said veterans are the pressure point, military families are the pressure point, and we're going to use that chess piece across the board to try to get a political outcome we want.
Now, think about it. The president thought sequester would never pass because they know Republicans are tight with defense, even though you think the president would want a big defense. So he says, if I cut defense, Republicans will step up. Well, the Republicans took a calculated risk. They said, we need these cuts, so we'll suck it up for a year and see if we can renegotiate the $1.2 trillion we're cutting out of the Pentagon. So again, what do? Go to something the Republicans support.
That's right.
Traditionally, and that's defense and veterans like yourself.
Absolutely. So the deal we saw last night does nothing to address the sequester, just like it does nothing to address our $17 trillion in debt and our runaway spending. So the Pentagon continues to get cut in ways that it can't sustain, and our debt doesn't get addressed. And that's something that affects veterans and military families. And certainly our organization wants everybody to know a deal for the sake of a deal isn't good for veterans.
All right, let's go over some of the things that were initially denied to veterans. For example, the death gratuity, $100,000 to travel, and the death and the death expenses actually handed out immediately, the burial expenses. Travel for funeral services, which we know has been filled in by Fisher House and now the Wounded Warriors, and the dignified transfer at Dover Air Force Base to wherever the ultimate location would be. All that stuff was denied initially to create, in many people's minds, a flurry of outrage to force a deal early.
And look at those things. Those are the essence of how we treat those who have sacrificed their lives on the altar of freedom. It's the death benefits to families, it's the gratuity, it's the honors at burial, it's the arrival at Dover. It's the very things that signal in this country how much we care for, how much reverence we have for the warriors still giving their lives right now, Brian, as we speak, in Afghanistan, in a war this president's frankly ignoring and has, he surged and told the enemy when he's going to leave, and we don't even think about it right now. These families are welcoming the bodies back, and we're not paying for it, and we're doing it for political reasons.
I know you formed an organization to have a political voice, but veterans for the most part and soldiers for the most part, men and women who serve, are supposed to put their head down and deal with the situation at hand. However, if you don't find a way to speak up and speak out for your own rights and for things with injustices, you're going to continue to be used as pawns. How do you overcome that?
You overcome that by organizing. And that's what Concerned Veterans for America is doing as an organization of veterans and military families, a collective voice of people who, we're going to be aggressive, but we're going to be professional about how we address it. And people are starting to pay attention. When you see veterans and military families used as pawns, and we're on a bus tour right now, the Defend Freedom Tour, we're going to end it here at Fox and Friends in a couple of days, where we're going city by city talking to people to say, if you're outraged like we are about the political games in Washington, then let's do something about it. If you don't push back, then the freedoms we fought for erode right before our eyes.
And the best thing to happen to America, the more you guys ran for office.
And
women.
I agree. Absolutely.
All right, Pete, thanks so much.
Thanks,
we look forward to, you're going to be joined by Sean Parnell a little bit later on in the week, correct?
Yes.
All right, that'll be great. All right.